Just a day ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting his Pakistani counterpart, Pakistan's Premier Nawaz Sharif in Russia, Pakistani forces have once again violated ceasefire at the line of control in North Kashmir's Baramulla district. One BSF constable, Krishna Kumar Dubey, has been martyred in a ceasefire violation. This constable was deployed with the army in the Lipa Valley area of Baramulla. The Jawan was killed in a Pakistan Army sniper fire near the Karam post at the LOC. On Sunday, another BSF Jawan was martyred at the international border in Arnia sector of Jammu. Joining me now with the latest from Srinagar is India Today's Shujaul Haq. Shuja, is the tension high on the LC, and is this ceasefire violation being seen in connection with the meeting tomorrow?
Well, as far as the tension is concerned, there's definitely a lot of tension on the line of control, because this is a second such incident that has happened in last few days only. And in both the incidents, BSF Jawans have been targeted. Gaurav, let me tell you that these are there are BSF Jawans which are posted on the forward areas, and they work in tandem with the army at most parts of line of control. And that's why this time around a BSF Jawan has come under the fire. What we are learning is that this incident took place around 4 in the evening, 4 p.m. and then there was a brief exchange between the two sides. But yes, as far as the escalation of the tension is concerned, there definitely is a lot, at least on this division of line of control from Kashmir side. And with regards to the meeting, high-profile meeting, this definitely seems to be some connection, towards that. As far as the forces are concerned, what we've been told is that extra vigil is being maintained all across line of control.
Shuja, keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. Now, it's finally been confirmed by the Ministry of External Affairs that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif will meet on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting in Ufa, Russia. Now, this is a meeting which, according to Pakistan's Foreign Office, was sought by the Indian side. The suggestion came from India, and this comes after months of the relationship being in deep freeze. Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif responded positively to the suggestion, is what government of India says, government of Pakistan says. Now, sources in government of India are saying that India is expected to read the Riot Act to Pakistan, especially on Pakistan-sponsored terror, 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks on Indian interests in Afghanistan, and also say that India-Pakistan relationship can improve if terror stops.
It's now official. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be meeting his Pakistani counterpart on the sidelines of the BRICS summit in Russia tomorrow. The Narendra Modi-Nawaz Sharif meeting is scheduled for 9:15 a.m. on Friday and is expected to last about 30 minutes. And Pakistan-sponsored terror will be on top of India's agenda. The Prime Minister is expected to talk tough when he meets Nawaz Sharif. Sources have told India Today that PM Modi is expected to raise the issue of Pakistan's weak stance on Lakwi. Sources say Modi will also tell Nawaz Sharif that Pakistan should stop attacking Indian interests in Afghanistan, and that the region will not progress unless there is a terror-free environment. The two PMs are also likely to ask the two foreign secretaries to meet soon and chart a way forward for bilateral dialogue. Even before the Modi-Sharif meet was formalized, there were fireworks, with Pakistan's defense minister declaring that the country does not rule out using its nuclear power against India.
अगर हमें अपने सर्वाइवल के लिए, अपनी बका के लिए हमें ये हथियार इस्तेमाल करने पड़े, तो अल्लाह के फजल से हमारे पास हथियार मौजूद हैं.
Pakistan claims it was India that initiated the meeting between Narendra Modi and Nawaz Sharif. Friday's meet comes after a series of flip-flops on part of the Modi government towards Pakistan. After inviting Nawaz Sharif to Prime Minister's swearing-in, India called off the foreign secretary-level talks after Pakistan's envoy invited separatists for talks. Later, Union Minister and former Army Chief V.K. Singh participated in Pakistan Day celebrations. Separatist leaders were also present. It was followed a real thaw after the deep freeze, or a mere status quo. All eyes are now on the Narendra Modi-Nawaz Sharif meet on Friday. With Smita Sharma and Gaurav Sawant in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
The Indian side sought this meeting, says the Pakistan Foreign Office. The suggestion came from India. Is this then a sign of a change in India's stance? Because Prime Minister Narendra Modi had made it very clear, as long as Pakistan talks to Hurriyat, India will not talk to Pakistan. As long as there is firing along the LOC, there will be no talks. I want to bring in Congress Party's Manish Tiwari, former Union Minister Manish Tiwari. He joins us on the broadcast. Representing the BJP is Aman Sinha. Also joining me is India's former High Commissioner to Pakistan, Ambassador G. Parthasarthi. Manish Tiwari, your take on India suggesting that this meeting be held. That is what the Pakistan Foreign Office says.
Frankly, Gaurav, if you rewind events over the past 1 year, there is only one nomenclature which can possibly qualify the policy of this government towards Pakistan, and that is flop-flop. And the reason why I use the terminology flop-flop, because if you recall, on the 26th of May 2014, this government invited Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif for its coronation. And Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif expanded a lot of political capital. Notwithstanding a lot of diffidence in Pakistan, he still chose to travel to India.
Okay.
There was a feeling that there would be an engagement with Pakistan, and that's exactly what the new government possibly had in mind. And then in August, you saw the spectre of the Foreign Secretary level talks being called off because the Pakistani High Commissioner met the Hurriyat, something which had been happening for the past 10 or 20 odd years. It happened even when Mr. Vajpayee was Prime Minister. It was followed by an unprecedented amount of tension on the international border and the line of control. And the stance of the government of India was that till the time Pakistan does not stop exporting terror, there would be no talks with Pakistan. And now suddenly, you have a flip or a flop again, the Prime Minister calling up Nawaz Sharif to wish him for Ramzan, and then deciding to, meet him on the sidelines of the summit in Russia. It begs a very fundamental question. Forget the policy. What are the tactics of this government on Pakistan?
Yes,
Aman Sinha, explain this. Manish Tiwari says a series of flop on Pakistan when there is terror that is still Pakistan-sponsored terror continues. Indian interests are being attacked in Afghanistan even now. Why is Prime Minister taking this initiative to have a bilateral meeting with Nawaz Sharif on the sidelines of SCO in Ufa?
No, Gaurav, you are right. This is a SCO meet, and India and Pakistan both are observer members. And on sidelines, India and Pakistan Prime Minister are meeting. I don't see any difficulty in that. And it is surprising that the Congress party, which has been consistently inconsistent with respect to Indo-Pakistan policy, is giving a lecture on being consistent. And consistency is not the question. The question is what is in larger national interest of the country at this point in time. And therefore, whatever this government deems fit, I think the whole nation should be supporting the government in foreign policy measures and on these issues. And as far as the foreign policy of this government is concerned, Gaurav, you have seen that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has enhanced the respect for India and Indians in past 1 year at the global stage.
I want to specifically question the wisdom of talking to Pakistan. Wisdom of talking to Pakistan when terror hasn't stopped. Pakistan hasn't stopped engaging with Hurriyat. What is worse, Pakistan is not giving a visa to PDP people. It's not giving a visa to Naeem Akhtar of the PDP, saying only Hurriyat represents the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and yet the Prime Minister is engaging with Pakistan. Why?
Gaurav, you will appreciate that the terror, at least the terror, has been contained to a large extent. And the UPA days of India being perceived as a soft state, that has been turned around. Today India is a global superpower under leadership of Prime Minister Modi. The whole world acknowledges it. That is the change which has come in past 1 year. And therefore whatever foreign policy measures which this government is taking, usually all the political parties and the citizens always support such foreign policy measures, and I'm sure these diplomatic initiatives will be supported, and whatever is in the larger national interest of the country at this point in time, the government will do only that.
Okay, what is this this meeting likely to achieve? Is this a climb down as far as the BJP government is concerned? Because first they said no talking as long as you talk to Hurriyat. They've gone a step ahead. Pakistan has hardened its stance. They didn't give a visa to a PDP representative. They only want to consider Hurriyat as representatives.
You shouldn't consider relations with Pakistan in isolation. It is in a regional environment. And I must say, in the last 6 to 8 months, with all our other neighbors, and we are getting sub-regional organizations now, whether it is Bangladesh, Nepal, Maldives, Sri Lanka, or even Myanmar, relations have improved. There's no question. Now, the relationship with Pakistan is more complex. Now, we should draw a difference between a dialogue process and a process of engagement. Nations remain in touch with each other at various levels, even during a conflict. I remember during the Kargil conflict, I met Nawaz Sharif. There were occasions when their foreign minister came to India. So, but that was not a dialogue process. I think the crucial point was the 2004 January agreement, wherein we said the dialogue process, meaning a continuous dialogue, will proceed once Pakistan observes that the sanctity of the line of control and that it will not allow its territory to be used for terrorism. That was the 2004. By and large, they observed it till 2007 and then changed after Musharraf went for
In 2015, it's worse, and we are still engaging.
No, just a minute. There's a difference between engagement and a dialogue process.
Okay.
Obviously, if you are going to reduce tensions, you have to maintain some level of contact.
Does it have to be summit level, Manish Tiwari?
No, let me complete. I'm sure you can go to Manish. The fact of the matter is that decision is taken at a summit level. So I don't see this as negotiations.
Okay.
It is to lay the framework as if it is at all possible for us to engage. I don't believe we should engage in the midst of bullets flying, but if at all it's possible, and what will be that engagement? I would be quite happy if in response to Jaishankar's visit to Islamabad, the Pakistan Foreign Secretary came to India, and we'll have to wait and see. Cross-border LOC firing stopped. DGMOs could meet to ensure that. If they don't, you give a befitting response.
Okay. Manish Tiwari, are you satisfied with this response? That the government is adopting a twin-pronged strategy. You continue with the engagement, but if there is firing at the LOC, if there is terror from Pakistan, you give a befitting reply.
And no dialogue process. No dialogue.
And no resumption of dialogue process.
With great respect to Ambassador Parthasarathy, for whom I have a lot of deep reverence, I would respectfully like to disagree. For the simple reason, in August of 2014, you decide to call off the Foreign Secretary level engagement, saying that Pakistan is going to talk, why is the Pakistani High Commission talking to the Hurriyat? Then you said the Indian Foreign Secretary, ostensibly around South Asia, but specifically for the purpose because, he requires a fig leaf to visit Pakistan. He goes to Pakistan, engages with his interlocutors. Moment he comes back, the Pakistani High Commission actually calls the Hurriyat and then briefs them about what happened between the Foreign Secretary and the Pakistani establishment in Islamabad. Subsequently, you have the Prime Minister of India now meeting with the Prime Minister of Pakistan at a point in time when the Indian resolution on Lakhvi in the United Nations at the instance of Pakistan has been blocked by China in the Security Council. So it begs the question, what has materially changed over the past 1 year that warrants a summit level interaction between the two prime ministers? And the only explanation for that is that in the absence of a policy or even the absence of tactics, you have this episodical things. Today I like Nawaz Sharif, so I will talk to him. Tomorrow I don't like Nawaz Sharif's face, so I will do kutti. So therefore, this kutti and abba kind of politics which these people have been doing Pakistan is disastrous, Gaurav, for the BJP.
Does this government,
what is this kind of language we are discussing?
Does the government have a Pakistan policy?
This is absolutely
Mr. Manish Tiwari,
for the lack of a better word.
Respond to that, Aman
Gaurav, enough of this. I mean, we are discussing international relations and this is how Congress spokesperson is behaving? What is this Abba Kutti and all this language which is being used?
Don't give me a lecture on language, Mr. Aman
The point
Sinha.
of the matter
Please
is this is
respond to
a
the question
SCO
which has
meet
been asked.
and
I've
India and
deliberately used that
Pakistan,
language in order
please
to
do not
underscore
interject
your
when
lack
I'm
of a
speaking.
policy.
Mr. Tiwari,
Okay.
please do not interject.
Respond on the merits.
Well, I'm not interjecting.
When
but you
respond on
Please do
merits,
not interject. Let me
there is
complete.
tension at the
Then you
line of
can come
control.
in.
Gentlemen, let's keep this
Our
strictly on
policy is
merits
that
of the
whatever
subject.
is in the best national interest, we'll do it.
Is
This
it in
is the same
country's
Congress
national
party
interest?
which said
Why is it
Pakistan should not use terror as an
continues
instrument
to
of
spread
state
terror
policy.
in India,
Thereafter, they
attack
said
us in
something in
Afghanistan?
Sharm El-Sheikh. Prime
Pakistan
Minister
continues to
Manmohan
talk to
Singh, when he
Hurriyat.
was there, the number of U-turns that he made on India-Pakistan foreign policy was astonishing.
Prime Minister Manmohan
And
Singh,
Mr. Manish Tiwari, who is a lawyer, he conveniently forgets all the U-turns that Prime Minister Manmohan Singh made when he was there.
No, but
The
why
simple
should we
question
repeat
is
Prime Minister
that
Manmohan Singh's
whatever
mistakes?
is in our
Gerrymandering from
larger
2004 to
national interest,
2014.
the BJP will do it. No,
Why
what is the
repeat Prime Minister
difficulty?
Manmohan Singh's
If Prime
mistakes?
Minister
The
of
BJP
India
attacked
is
Prime
going
Minister
to
Manmohan Singh for the
register
same
this
engagement.
meeting is against
the
national
Prime
interest.
Minister of Pakistan with respect to their attitude, their policy on question of Zakir Rahman Lakhvi. What is the difficulty? He has registered the same protest with immense clarity and conviction to the Chinese premier also. So what is the difficulty if Prime Minister of India meets the Pakistani Prime Minister and registers his protest on these issues, flags the issues of global terror, and
no, but Aman Sinha, is the government buckling under American pressure? Is there American pressure to talk to Pakistan? Is that the real issue?
What is the difficulty that Mr. Manish Tiwari should be having?
No, is
what
the
is
BJP
that the Congress
government
party
buckling under American
and
pressure?
Mr.
Aman
Manish Tiwari should be
Sinha,
having
respond to a
if Prime
straight
Minister
question,
Narendra Modi is building a consensus on global terror?
Oh, music, Anash.
Direct allegation that is being leveled is that the government is bending under American pressure, Aman Sinha. The Americans want you to talk because the Americans want to get out of Afghanistan, and that is why the government is obliging.
You disconnect ho gaya.
Is that the issue, Ambassador Parthasarathy?
Let me answer Mr. Tiwari also, who's a good friend of mine. The fact of the matter is, and he knows better as much as I do, that there is a difference between a dialogue process and a process of engagement.
Okay.
I think the decision to cancel the talks because that fellow met with Hurriyat was incorrect.
Okay.
That was not a correct decision. It was hasty. Because at some stage or the other you were going to bound to return.
No, so, but my point is, Pakistan stays with its stance. Why are we so desperate to engage with Pakistan? Why can't we stick to our stance?
I'll tell you why.
Engage at the level of foreign secretaries or ambassadors.
I'll tell you why. For the simple reason that you are not addressing domestic audiences alone. You are addressing an international audience. The international audience has been told that Mr. Modi dislikes Pakistan, is allergic to them and so on. So you, in addressing the domestic audience, you meet. There is no harm in meeting. As I said, I met Nawaz Sharif during the Kargil conflict.
Okay.
So I think, but we should be very, very clear that the message to Pakistan should continue, that a dialogue process and the firing of bullets and terrorism cannot go hand in hand.
Is there a difference in Narendra Modi as Prime Minister engaging with Pakistan and Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister engaging with Pakistan? Why is it acceptable for Prime Minister Narendra Modi
I look at it this way. I have served with every Prime Minister starting with Jawaharlal Nehru when I joined the service.
Yes.
Pakistan has always been a difficult country to deal with. And each Prime Minister has its own style. I know, for example, Mrs. Gandhi was totally averse to engaging with Ziaul Haq. Totally, she disliked him intensely. But when Rajiv Gandhi took over and I was his spokesman, he engaged Ziaul Haq, despite what he was doing in Punjab. So I think, yes, the political debate has to continue, it has to be robust. But the fact of the matter is, draw a distinction between the dialogue process and engagement. Process of engagement, much of it has to be back channel, will have to continue, whether the foreign secretaries or special envoys or even the intelligence chiefs and the DGMOs will have to be back channel.
So let me get Aman Sinha.
But the fact of the matter is that will have to be decided when the leaders meet and convey it to each other, so that there is no ambiguity at the level of leaders, okay? But I would urge that there should be a certain consistency. You can't, on the grounds of the Hurriyat, just say that We are not.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you what. Ultimately, as Dulat has revealed, successive governments, including Mr. Vajpayee's, engaged with the Hurriyat.
Issue technically remains that America wants us to talk, China wants us to talk, the UK wants us to talk. So perhaps because world powers want us to talk, we are talking, but we're not moving forward.
The point is, there is, as I said, in external affairs, you don't address just domestic audiences. You are addressing an international audience. Okay. Mr. Modi will have to look Obama in the face the next time he meets him during the UN General Assembly session. Look, brother, I gave it a try.
Okay.
And if they continue their firing across the line of control, so that we can't proceed ahead.
Is
but
that
also tell them that, look, we've listened to the world. Now you deliver on Lakhvi, you deliver on Headley. Okay. So it gives you greater leverage with the rest of the world to, even if you are not reasonable, to be seen to be reasonable and engaging.
Okay. Manish Tiwari, do you buy this argument that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is repeatedly trying to engage with Pakistan, and then we'll get the world to put pressure on Pakistan that, look, we are talking to Pakistan, their terror continues, so we have to take a hard line?
Well, Gaurav, it's an absolute oxymoron, and it is hypocrisy for the lack of a better word. These very people from 2004 to 2014 kept screaming from every rooftop that terror and talks cannot go hand in hand. If Pakistan does not eschew the policy of sponsoring terror, there would be a hard response if the NDA ever comes to power. And the only evidence of a hard response is a very namby-pamby, soft-kneed approach, which is devoid both of strategy and tactics, as I was saying. Look, I am not against an engagement on Pakistan. According to me, we need to engage with all interlocutors, all the stakeholders in the Pakistani process, which includes the politicians, which also includes the military. But there has to be a certain consistency, and it has to be a thought out strategy. For example, if there is going to be a coitus interruptus in the form of a terror attack, then how do we respond in a calibrated manner? But unfortunately, the kind of swinging from the sublime to the ridiculous, the stilting at windmills that we have been seeing.
What is then required,
it sent out a message to your Pakistani interlocutors across the border
approach.
That you have a government in Delhi which is completely naive on foreign policy.
A bipartisan approach perhaps needs to be adopted on how to deal with Pakistan, and let's have a debate in Parliament and let Parliament decide how India needs to deal with Pakistan and Pakistan-sponsored terror. We'll continue to track this story very closely. Aman Sinha, Manish Tiwari and Ambassador Parthasarathy for the moment. Many thanks for joining me on the broadcast. We'll be on top of this story all day. A quick break. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.